In this video, we're going to talk about how we can filter GPOs based on security permissions, or basically how we can apply GPOs to specific computers or users or groups of computers and users based on security permissions. Let's take a look. Here we have a standard domain environment. I have a group policy management console here open with a handful of group policies. Now, if we look through our various group policies, let's say that this very first one, redirecting a folder for the My Documents folder. Currently, this is applying to all the users in the domain. It's in the root of the domain. It's going to redirect the My Documents folder for every single user in the domain that it's applicable to. But maybe I don't want that to apply to every single user. Maybe I don't want that to apply to every single computer. And therefore, I may want to put some permissions regarding permissions around whether that system should, or whether that policy should apply to specific users or not. Well, for that, what we can do is right here on the right-hand side, we have a security filtering section. And this is where we specify which users or which groups this policy should apply to. When we look at it right now, it currently says, yeah, authenticated users are who it's applied to. But maybe we don't want authenticated users. Maybe we only want to restrict it to specific people. So for that, we might want to create a separate group. I'm going to go ahead and open up Active Directory users and computers. I'm just going to create a new group. So let's see, right click, new group. And to keep the naming simple and understandable as far as what it means and what this group is for, I'm going to call this redirected users. Now, I'm not going to put any people in there just yet because that's not really the purpose of this video. But the idea is that I have created users, I've created a group, and I go ahead and I put users into that group. And all the people that I want to have their folders redirected, I want to put into that group. So in theory, I simply manage the membership of that group in order to manage who has their documents redirected or not. So with that being said, I can come over here back into my group policy management to my group policy. And instead of authenticated users, I can go ahead and remove that. Wow, okay. So I remove the authenticated users and then I add in my redirected users security group that I just created and in theory populated. Now, when people log in and when Active Directory group policies start getting applied to these computers, this grouping right here will be applied to determine whether or not this GPO should apply to that user. And I can have multiple filterings in here. So for instance, if I have, I don't know, backup admins. No? There we go. Backup operators. There we go. So you can put multiple groups in here in order to help organize the policies and have it apply to multiple groups. So that's one quick and easy way to do it. We can also look if we, over on the top at the right-hand side, we see there's a delegation tab. If we click on that, we will see more specific details about the permissions for this group policy. And for instance, we can see the backup operators have read permission. Now, read permission, if you think about a file with an NTFS file permissions, read permissions means you can read the content of it. With a group policy, that basically means we can read the group policy, and if we can read the group policy, then we can apply the policy to our computer. Same thing with redirected users. We are able to read the policy and then apply it to our computer. We can, if we wish, come in here and edit those, not that. Advanced, there we go. We can come in here and we can actually be much more specific with our permissions as far as who can read and apply those policies. There you go, apply, as opposed to enterprise admin, which can read but not apply. And then we can create additional security around those GPOs. So by defining the security permissions, we can then define who actually has access to apply these policies. So even though they may be at the root of the domain, we can then filter out via security permissions who can actually apply those to their systems.